Great. As a high school counselor, do you feel like you get to see the struggles and successes of your students?
Absolutely, on many different levels. Specifically with the college aspect, we start the process very young, introducing them to careers and different tools that they could be using to do searching, and then a lot of the conversations surrounding scheduling classes they want to take and requirements for college entrance kind of lead into that final decision their senior year.
Sure. How many of your students would you say are pursuing a college degree?
I think it's pretty close to 75% that have specific college intent. My advice is to always open the door, get the paperwork done, have college as an option,
Right.
And then they can always step out in the end.
Of course. The transition into college for the ones that do want to go, what are some of the struggles or gaps that you see in the transition into college?
My focus to help them understand the language, the difference between an admissions office and a registrar's office and a financial aid office, and who's their go-to, what the resources are, internet resources. At this point in the school year, they're really just tackling applications. So it's teaching them how to use the Common App, how to follow up and make sure that if they ask somebody to do a letter of recommendation that it was submitted and what the due date is, and it didn't get lost in an email, because that's how those come out. Locating other resources online, understanding timelines. I start really heavily with juniors in January, telling them about letters of recommendations, about college essays, because both of those two things take some time to gather and to process. So,
are you willing to help any of the students with that?
I do.
As far as other counselors at other schools too.
Yeah,
would definitely be willing to.
Absolutely. It's that I focused on publishing webinars and self-guided help. There's a new program that's called Going Merry, which is a scholarship search database. But within that, they've developed this tool that is just amazing. It walks line by line through the FAFSA form, and every question any student could have is already addressed with little question bubbles. And so
as far as a lack of resources, obviously you talked about lack of money a little bit. Are there maybe programs that you would like to see, or other things that could help students make the jump to college that aren't already there?
Yeah, the access to information right now is dependent on how the information is disseminated, or maybe how resourceful the parent and the student are.
You've talked about some of the lack of resources available and stuff like that, but I feel like you've addressed a lot of those, and ways to overcome those. As far as the money situation goes, if maybe you're living in poverty, this is not just a UPSU, it's around Michigan and the rest of the country that poverty is really hitting people with going to college. It's hard to come up with that money. Mm-hmm. So what is a good way to overcome that?
So money for college in particular, we start pretty young, introducing them to the national scholarship search engines. There's Going Merry is the one that I mentioned. There's FastWeb, there's scholarship.com. There's a whole bunch of them. And what they do is students create accounts, and then that system knows their age level, their gender, their living conditions, their interested majors, anything that they provide, self-reported GPA. And then that works as a filter to ping, as national scholarships come through, it'll send them an alert and say, we think that you should apply for this because it looks like it matches what you're looking for. Scholarships are available, from a very young age. You just have to do the work. I also always advise kids to take the ones that require an essay, because most kids don't want to do the essay. So your chance of getting that one would be higher. Understanding from a young age, and instillment that, a college education may be required for whatever you want to do, so you need to plan for that. If you choose a different door when you get to your high school year, that's fine, but that's the door as a counselor that I'm always keeping open, and always, pushing them to just, make sure that they know that is an option. Resources statewide too, that, it's just a matter of piecing the information together, and that's why I really feel like the counseling office is a triage. And you don't want students leaving and just going to college because that's what they're expected to do. You want them to go to college with excitement in whatever they're majoring in and look forward to those classes. There's a lot of options out there that maybe is unique to them and still would provide them with happiness in the future. So
right.